Okay, we are going to go through the Substack app for the first time, mobile app. They just launched it. I have not seen this before, so we're going through it together. And I have downloaded it. I have put my password in, and we are here where they are recommending different ways that I can follow creators or writers. And so the first thing I notice is, unlike other apps, they have not pre-selected anything for me to follow, which is kind of a classic way to get people to do a thing. I'll reference, I think this is a Mike Norton study, but basically the idea is if you ask people how many pizza toppings you want, what do you want? And you could select mushrooms or spinach, versus if you select all of them and say, take away the ones that you don't want. At the end of the day, the people who have all of them pre-selected and asked to remove ones will have more than the people who are asked to add them. And this is the essence of kind of making something easy in relation to this decision, which is right now I will likely have less things to follow than if they'd pre-selected. But of course, and props to Substack, they are trying to do something different. They're not trying to be the same type of media company as the ones we know and don't love. So here we go. So they're trying to recommend things that are similar to what maybe they already know about me or don't. I don't know which one I signed in with, so I won't critique their recommendations. They do feel slightly off, but they have not pre-selected. One thing I would note is that this reminds me of carousels, where you're assuming the user is going to click something, click the small arrow on the right to continue or like see what else is behind the wheel. And it is unlikely that culture gets any, I would say maybe a guess in Substack, if you're listening to this, 5% clicks, versus if they maybe were to do this in a different way where you would circle it through for me. So you would say things like, you're featured, pick 2. Right? Or here's culture, pick 1. And so by having a cute UI here, like their designer is probably really lovely, but having this cute UI is likely to decrease this exploration element that they would probably hope to get, especially for the first time, because it's unlikely that I would go back in 2 months and say, I'd really like to reset all my preferences. So this is the time. They have my momentum. And so let's follow Adam Grant. And some of this is actually interesting because there's like a familiarity or similarity effect where people are more likely to invest in stocks if they can pronounce the stock. And what that kind of entails is just we do things that are, recognizable at some level. And so my sense is these are not as recognizable as they could be. So it's going to be harder for me to make a decision on picking one of them if I've never heard of them. Other ways to do this, right, would be more groupings, saying like these are academics writing, or these are, makers writing. And so you're not actually having to make a decision on the title, you're having to make a decision on the grouping or the bundle. So we'll give them a few so that our thing is populated when we get in there. We don't want an empty house. But again, I forget that I could probably also unfollow these, but we'll go here. Okay, we'll say done. Okay. Wonderful. So it is pulling in things that I'm already subscribed to. I'm subscribed to Lenny's. If you're not subscribed to Lenny's, go for it. Do this. And this is wonderful. So this is a feed of the things that I'm already subscribed to. And that's what we're looking at. What else do we got here? So let's click around. Okay, cool. So we've got, this is my inbox. I don't exactly know what the inbox is. Let's click on this. So it seems like maybe they are trying to create a different type of mental model for an inbox of things that may be new. Not sure. And so, in general, new startups have to create new mental models all the time. And it's actually pretty difficult to do because we're used to, this looks like an inbox, we're used to an inbox, it kind of looks like a printer, but we're used to an inbox, then we actually want something that says like, this is new, sorted by recency, and this seems to just be a feed. And so it may be probably not as wise to repurpose an existing mental model, but maybe to create a new one here, versus try to get me to rethink about what this actually is, and maybe some cues, labels that would help me kind of give an analogy to how I'm supposed to use this inbox. Also, inboxes are stressful. So, and when I clicked on this, it didn't go away. And so for an inbox, you actually want something to disappear. So I don't love the analogy of inbox. And for mental models in general, there's an opportunity to, when you give somebody a new mental model, to have them, it's like a cheat code because they take everything they know about this thing and then put it on that, and you don't have to recreate it. But it seems like this one, not so much. And here is another feed. So we have 3 feeds here. Not exactly sure what they're doing differently. It seems like my home feed may be where all the action is. And we'll click on notifications. So here's another feed. Guys, if you're not following the Substack and subscribe to it, now would be the time. I'd get a notification that you liked it. This was not intentional. I'm not fishing for compliments. But if you happen to like something that is on the Substack, wonderful. And so, okay. Yeah, I think one thing with Substack in general is that writing takes a really long time. And so this recording takes a while. Substack has not yet cracked the code of helping me as a writer feel affirmed. So I could do a note, I could do a post, I could do this, and I'm getting pennies of likes on it. If I didn't have such a strong conviction that some of these Substacks were helpful for folks, I would give up because I'm not getting the external affirmation in a way that, LinkedIn, I'd post something and get 30 comments or, 500 likes. That's a humble brag. I did not mean to humble brag, but that was accidentally a humble brag. But Substack hasn't cracked that code. The one thing I've heard that has helped, or Nextdoor has an anecdote where for people who are new to Nextdoor, you sign up and then you write an intro post and then their algorithm pushes that intro post to the top of the feed. Why? Because then other people, your neighbors, will see it and like it. Their goal is to get new people who have just bared their soul and started the platform to, number one, do something, like participate in it, and second, be affirmed for it. And so the algorithm makes it easy for people to get that kind of affirmation. I am curious kind of how Substack is thinking about that, where people, if you're posting to an empty house for too long, folks are just going to give up. And so, we don't want that empty house syndrome. So if you have a Substack, send me yours and I will like yours too. We will get that affirmation going round.